Saturday, March 30th, 2024. Air Peace. A proud Nigeria carrier had her maiden direct flight from Lagos to London. The airline had a brief ceremony to launch its inaugural Lagos to London operations. It was a historic moment for the Nigerian aviation sector and Nigerians at large as it held at the Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos.
People outside the industry, they don't understand what is happening here today. This is very significant because it's been very difficult for our local operators to service international routes and, of course, to take advantage of our BASAs. These BASAs are, the bilateral service agreements, to take advantage of our BASAs that give reciprocal rights to our local airlines. And so what BASAs normally say is that when you have 14 slots into my country, they also give you 14 slots into their country. But that is as much as the paper says. There's what they call the politics of BASAs also. Because after giving you the 14 slots into their country, in most cases they play politics with it. And in such a way that they frustrate even your, being able to take advantage of that. But beyond that too, our local operators are also handicapped. They're handicapped because they don't have access to these aircrafts that these international airlines have on the same terms as those international airlines. When I say on the same terms, I mean, for example, the terms upon which they lease these aircrafts. So what we have tried to do is to ensure that we support our local operators to have access to these lease arrangements, like what Air Peace is doing today. And that is what we can start to use to crash prices on international routes.
Air Peace over the years has been very supportive of Nigerians, ensuring that they are there when there is crisis. Whenever there is crisis, you see Air Peace is there. And if Air Peace can continue to make inroads, supporting Nigerians even into countries that they didn't have established trading routes or flying routes because of the humanitarian crisis at that point, it only makes sense that we should encourage them when they actually then make trading routes or flying routes into established destinations. And I encourage all Nigerians to be very patriotic, to support them. They always have to remember, we all have to remember that this is our own Nigerian aircraft. And, any ticket bought on Air Peace signifies trading, it signifies investment, it signifies belief in ourselves, in what we can do as Nigerians, in our culture, in our heritage. And it also shows to us, to all Nigerians, that we are proud to be Nigerians.
The U.S.-Nigeria Business Council, in collaboration with Julie Darling Entertainment World, presents a bi-monthly business discourse tagged the U.S.-Nigeria Trade and Investment Webinar Series. The theme for this month's discourse is Taming Inflation, Unraveling Solutions to the Rising Cost of Doing Business. Our special guest is Dr. Bashir Maigudu, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Legal Research and Compliance Matters in the Office of the Vice President, Abuja, Nigeria. Our speakers are Dr. Kazim Bello, Chief Executive Officer, Afrique Capital and Equity Funds Limited in New York, USA, and Ambassador Akinremi Bolaji, Director, Economic, Trade and Investment of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Abuja, Nigeria. The date of the webinar is Sunday, 21st April 2024. The time is 7:30 p.m. Nigeria and UK time, that is 2:30 p.m. New York Eastern Standard Time. It promises to be an engaging discussion. To register, please use the link showing on your screen. This message is brought to you by U.S.-Nigeria Business Council. To learn more about the Council, visit our website www www.usnigeria.org. Thank you.
The maiden flight had on board notable personalities as well as Nollywood stars Uche Jumbo, Chioma Chukwuka, Omoni Oboli, and Ufoma McDermott. Air Peace Lagos-London maiden flight was spectacular in several ways. Nigerian dishes were served. Dishes like semo, eforiro, pepper soup, ofada rice, jollof rice and snacks like puff-puff, kuli-kuli and zobo drink were also served.
This is what we're talking about. This is zobo. Served on an international flight emanating from Nigeria. It's never happened. We've been served foreign delicacies, but this is zobo. This is kilishi, and that's what we're talking about.
That is what you would describe as proudly Nigerian. To crown it all, the Nigerian culture was reflected in the appearance of the air hostesses and crew as they were dressed in the traditional Isiagu and all looking radiant. Air Peace, our own. Save the nation, fly Air Peace.
We are going to do daily flights into London. Besides our 3 777s, we are bringing in 3 Dreamliners, brand new Dreamliners, to join the fray. We are going to do something different, exceptionally different. The competition is going to be massive and explosive. Nigerians will see something they've never seen before. Because if you are not prepared for this kind of fray, you get yourself burnt. They're waiting for us. We know they're waiting for us. We are going to give them the best. They came here, they audited Air Peace. What they saw, they couldn't believe it. They thought we couldn't pass the TCO, but we passed it because our safety standards in Air Peace is of universal acclaim. Air Peace has gotten IOSA right from the 2nd year of operation unheard of. And we've maintained that IOSA certification. We've gotten it 6 other times. So when they came here to audit us, what they thought they could see to make them reject us, they didn't see it. They went back and issued that TCO approval. The same way we are prepared, the capacity is there to give Nigerians a massive difference. It starts with the equipment we are going to use. It starts with the capacity we want to bring into the market, the ambience, everything you can think of. We have them. So it's left for Nigerians now to patronize their own. And I'm really pleased with the Nigerian travel, the agents, the Nigerian traveling agencies, their union. They came up with a slogan, Air Peace, our own. Some even printed T-shirts, Save the Naira, Fly Air Peace. Because if you know the amount of money this country is losing, my country is bleeding through the foreign airlines, massively bleeding. And they tell you, oh, their funds are trapped. Your funds are trapped, and you're still increasing your frequencies into the same country that your funds are trapped. Who is fooling who? So it's only when we try to embrace our own that we can save this country. About the student fares, why did I do it in the first place? I've been disturbed massively about the brain drain out of this country. We are losing our youthful ones to the outside world. A diplomat once told me, a foreign diplomat, that the Nigerian state doesn't know what it's losing, allowing this brain drain. They've got to do something to keep their people home. That, in fact, the diplomat told me that it would take about 25 to 30 million naira to raise the kids up to the university level. And at the end of the day, you lose it to the foreign country. They go out there and contribute. How do I make them to come back home? A lot of these people who are in the UK, studying abroad, UK, Canada, US and all, it's not that their parents are wealthy. But when you look at the incessant strikes that occur in my country, where your child will go to school, doesn't even know when it's going to come out. How about courtism in schools? So a lot of parents, they will sell their houses, sell everything they've got to take their children abroad, to give them education. Education is very key in every society. So they got there because they don't have the funds to afford to be coming home for holidays. They remain there for 4 or 5 years of schooling. At the end of the day, they get acclimatized. They become westernized. Come back to Nigeria becomes a problem because they've lost touch with homeland. This is the problem, and we are losing them in droves. Have you thought of what will happen to this country in the next 40 years? This population you're talking about will be depleted. What will be left here will be old men. So I decided that this is the time. I have an airline that could do it. I decided that Nigerians must start coming home. The students, we are going to put measures in place to make sure that this particular subsidy sort of is not abused. I want to do it for my nation. I love this country. These children must come home. They would like to come home. By the time they continue coming home frequently, when they finish, they want to come here to help to develop the country. This is the idea behind it all. It's all about patriotism.
Beyond the Lagos-London flight, according to the CEO Air Peace, Dr. Allen Onyema, there is a devilish conspiracy. All of a sudden, airlines are underpricing. That is low below the cost in less than 1 month of Air Peace operation of the Lagos-London route. This is an attempt to take Air Peace out. And the moment they succeed in taking Air Peace out, Nigerians will pay 20 times more. The government has to do more now that it is evident that frustrations are all aimed at taking Air Peace out. If they take Air Peace out, this country will pay dearly for it. Quote me, billions will be lost. There will be another heavy strain on the naira. We need our government to come out and see what they can do. Dr. Allen Onyema.
Hello and welcome to Maya Robotics. We offer a range of AI-powered tools to help enhance your productivity and provide personal assistance. I'm Maya, your personal AI assistant. With our personal assistant tools, you can train your AI to understand your preferences and needs, allowing it to assist you with tasks such as paying bills, online shopping, calendar management, research, and more. As an education and study assistant, our AI agent provides personalized learning experiences using intelligent tutoring with adaptive learning systems that focus on areas of weaknesses for improvement. Our AI-powered sales agents can help drive sales through business websites, guiding customers to make informed purchasing decisions. To learn more about my AI Robotics AI solution, visit www.myairobotics.com.
Beyond Air Peace maiden flight, that's obviously a very important topic to talk about, but I think it is critical to actually get a context right. And getting the context right is nothing more than, a good doctor that prescribes on the basis of an accurate diagnosis. The reason I say this is because there is this misconception that what Air Peace had to deal with was just business to business, or business to government, some sort of, competition. That is normal in business. Of course, competition drives business, it drives excellence and all of that. But what Air Peace had to contend with was much more than that. Now, I will give you, some sort of brief paintbrush of, the issues around British Airways. Some people have insinuated, maybe even asserted, that British Airways is, a government-owned enterprise, owned by the British government. That is wrong. Let's get that right. Because although British Airways was founded in 1974, I believe, around late 80s, somewhere around 87, 88, it was privatized and then listed in the London Stock Exchange. And from that moment, British Airways became a private company and had been trading as such, since then. And another major milestone, just to, get you in the context, is that in 2011, I believe, British Airways acquired Spanish Iberia. Well, some would like to call it major, fine, but today, Iberia has more or less disappeared, and so, the bigger giant here, which is British Airways, actually took it over. But fine, let's not debate about whether it's a measure of our acquisition, but the name British Airways still exists, and Iberia has been subsumed under that. It's important to mention that because the fact now is that the current owner of British Airways, which is International Airlines Group, that also owns other airlines, in Europe, Aer Lingus, for instance, Vueling, Level, and all of that, is a global conglomerate. Is a global airlines holding company, which means that its reach, its penetration in the industry is humongous. And here we are talking about Air Peace, of course, the largest African carrier. I mean, in terms of its penetration within the African continent, and has indeed been making incremental progress, penetrating global destinations, had now to contend with the same British Airways that is a very, very formidable force, perhaps, if not the most formidable force in the global aero industry. The Nigerian route for them is very, very lucrative. And up until now, they haven't quite had any, serious or visible competitor. And now enters Air Peace that came in a manner that they perceive that is going to be very, very disruptive for British Airways. Typically, what businesses do in this, under this circumstance is try as much as possible to frustrate the competitor so that you maintain that market lead. All of what British Airways did in this episode of, Air Peace, flying the London route was nothing more than trying to strangulate a potential competitor. And in doing that, they had the 101% support of their government, the British government. And so the fight that Air Peace had to contend with was, on the one hand, business to business, that is Air Peace to British Airways. But on the other hand, it was fighting the invisible battle of business to government, that is Air Peace versus the government of United Kingdom. And then the question you ask yourself is, in all of this, where is the government of Nigeria? Well, I think the story is unfolding very, very positively because there are compelling evidence that eventually the Nigerian government woke up to its task, woke up to its responsibility of supporting one of its own, but initially that was far from the case, to the point that even the ground operations within the international Murtala Mohammed International Airport, that the airport authority at some point or the other was seen to actually be acting in the better interest of British Airways as opposed to its own indigenous company, Airpeace. Now, this is no blame game. I think somehow the resilience and perseverance and the high level of preparedness of Airpeace has meant that the narrative is changing, the focus is changing, and the Nigerian government now appears set to offer Airpeace the sort of support that British government is giving to its own company, which is British Airways. I believe that it is important to, paint this picture of the context, and then we can build on that to look at exactly what happens beyond that maiden flight of Airpeace from Lagos to London.
Join us in the next episode of Global Light, plus our segments in light of global issues.